Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hobby Guard. Today we have something very exciting that came out. It's a new trailer, story trailer, apparently, for Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 4. So I'm really excited. I saw what I thought looked like a Dark Angel in the thumbnail of the video. So I had something entirely different planned for today. I was gonna make another drawing video, but this takes precedence because Warhammer is it's way too cool to ignore and to let it go like that. So grab your purity seals and join me, brothers, for the purging begins.
Peggy 18.
The galaxy lies shattered. The blood ravens stand alone. We fight.
I remember that guy from Dawn of War
We die.
2. Oh,
For centuries, we have been sworn to defend Kronos. We have returned to find a world in ruin.
that orc looks amazing.
Orc warlords infest the surface.
Yeah.
Mechanicus priests pursue knowledge long forgotten.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ancient horrors awaken, claiming dominion over all.
The Necrons are gonna look so good in this game.
Stirs below, buried deep,
And the
lost
Mechanicus.
for eons, and never meant to return.
God, I'm so excited for this. Holy Emperor. See, that's what I'm talking about.
We stand defiant.
How cool do the Necrons look?
Cronus must not fall.
Oh. Damn.
We are not alone.
Was he, Cyrus was his name? Silas? Something like that? Nice. Oh, so there are archangels. What is going on? There's a dead wing, the raven wing, the green wing. Oh, what the hell? Wait.
Our future is untold.
That is so cool, dude. This is the first time in a Dawn of War where game where a first founding chapter plays like a big role. Nice.
Only one thing is certain.
What is the meaning of this?
War has
Oh,
returned.
hell yeah! Oh, yo! Hold on. Immediately as I saw that shield, I was like, I know that shield. In case you don't know, I am building an army of Darkangels. I don't have the lion yet, so hopefully next year I'll get a little lion to paint like that. This is okay. I'm very confused now. See, I thought maybe the Darkangels would make an appearance when I saw them in the thumbnail, but this is like very Darkangel centric, which is surprising. Which means the story might have something to do with the Darkangels. Which, okay, theory time, conspiracy theory time. Let me just lower the volume here. I'll just play this in the background. What if, okay, for anyone who's played the Dawn of War game, specifically the second one, because that's like the one that I play the most, and so I can remember it better. I should go back and play the first one and the third one. I never played the third one. Regardless, for their Blood Ravens, which is a chapter that's this playable Space Marine chapter in the campaign of the Dawn of War game, a lot of their motivation, at least like their chapter lore, is precisely the lack of chapter lore. Like, they don't know who their founding chapter is. They don't know who their Primarch is, right? So I wonder, the fact that the Dark Angels are here could have something potentially very interesting to do with a couple of things. And oh, my brain is spinning with conspiracies already, because okay, we have to join a bunch of different points together, connect the dots here, okay? So on one hand you have the Blood Ravens, who for 3 games and something like 15 years or 20 years maybe at this point, haven't figured out, allegedly, who their founding chapter is, right? On the other hand, you get the Dark Angels, who for 10,000 years have been hunting out rogue cells or breakaway war bands of what are called the Fallen, which is half of their chapter after the Horus Heresy. I guess during the Horus Heresy fell to chaos, allegedly. The truth was more complex than that. And for 10,000 years, the Dark Angels and their successor chapters, the Unforgiven, as they are called, have been relentlessly hunting the Fallen throughout the galaxy, through time and space, quite literally. There's some time travel involved. I won't get into that. However, the truth, as I said, was more complex than that in the lore. Specifically in this latest book that came out called, well, and also in the Siege of Terra books that is addressed a little. By that whole arc with Corsoin, and what was this other guy's name? The other psyker's name escapes me right now. Some cool Dark Angel name. But the truth is, and also this is addressed, as I said, in the book of the Lion, Son of the Forest. The truth is that many of those archangels that allegedly fell to chaos actually did not know that they were aiding chaos. They didn't know that they were the traitors. They basically got propagandized and brainwashed over the years, and that they thought that the lion attacked first. So that is all very interesting. Now, going back to my conspiracy, what if, hear me out, what if, I guess I didn't end up connecting the dots. In that book, Lionel Johnson, whatever it's called, Son of the Forest, something very interesting happens where the lion learns about the truth from one of these so-called Fallen, who's actually just a loyalist space marine who never fell to chaos. Maybe he did some shady stuff throughout the way, but so have the Dark Angels, right? And the lion learns that they are not necessarily completely forsaken, right? And ever since that happened and the lion came back into the setting, and all that stuff has been going on, there have been some changes in Dark Angels. And some of these Fallen that they find, they aren't immediately executed, but they are given a chance to repent, basically. And if they weren't corrupted by chaos, then they are allowed to serve the chapter and the lion. Now, that being said, what if the reason the Dark Angels are, and the Deathwing, which is like the most elite unit of Space Marines in the entire Unforgiven chapters, I want to say, like all of the Dark Angels and their successors, and for sure, certainly one of the most elite units of Space Marines, period, up there with the Grey Knights and the Sanguinary Guard, for example, just to give you an idea. They are not like deployed willy-nilly, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. The Deathwing, that full those guys that are wearing like full Terminator armor, those guys right there, they are usually deployed with things that have to do with the inner circle, which means the inner circle means those Dark Angels who are aware of the story of the Fallen, right? Of the reality that half of their chapter allegedly fell to chaos. This is like very old lore, and a lot of has been like added to it and hasn't been explored, tragically so, if you ask me. So what if this game explores that lore? And what if the lion is just going around connecting with those previous Space Marines that were actually Fallen, but they just weren't corrupted by chaos? And what if, hear me out, one of those warbands of quote-unquote Fallen Space Marines at some point became a chapter, and at some point they just pretended that they were loyalists all along, and somehow through cunning reintegrated somewhat into Imperial society, and they just became the protectors of the Kronos sector, whatever it's called. And this is probably definitely not lore accurate. And when they ask them, like, hey, who's your parent chapter? They're like, oh, we don't know. We're not too sure. Because if the Dark Angels in the 40th, not the 41st, mind you, but the 40th millennium would have found out that they were successor chapters, they would have probably tested with a lot of what's the word? With a lot of inquisitiveness their origins. Okay, so you are a successor chapter of the Dark Angels. But where do you come from again? Who was your first chapter master? And so on and so on. And if these are successors of a fallen chapter, then of a group of fallen warriors, rather, then the Dark Angels in the 40th millennium would have 100% have executed them to the last, tortured and executed every single last Blood Raven. And they could too. Don't get me wrong. The Blood Ravens, as cool as they are, they don't hold a candle, to the Dark Angels in combat. Just the Dark Angels are, they're the first Space Marines. They were the first Legion back before the Heresy. Anyways, but things have changed with the Lion. And what if the Lion finds out about this chapter, successor chapter of basically the Fallen, but that has been acting loyally for the most part? Here and there have been a couple corrupted Blood Ravens throughout the years, but for the most part has a honorable record as defenders of mankind in the 41st millennium. And what if the Lion is like, you know what, I want to meet these Space Marines for myself, let's travel there and let's meet them. Now, that being said, like, sure, the Lion might just personally want to go to deal with them and to like personally assess whether they are truly corrupted, whether they are worth saving at all, or maybe just disposing of them. That being said, there has been a fan theory for many, many years, which I really like, which implies that the Blood Ravens are indeed a successor chapter of traitors from the Horus Heresy, but in this fan favorite theory, which has never been confirmed, but it's like headcanon for most people, is that the Blood Ravens are in fact a successor chapter from the gene seed of Magnus the Red and the Thousand Sons. So if the whole theory that I just presented to you is true, then that would mean that a fan theory that has been headcanon for thousands of fans throughout the years is not true. And that is always bittersweet. That being said, I never thought literally until now that the Blood Ravens might possibly be Dark Angel successors. And that would certainly go a long way to explain why they have so many relics, and from so many chapters. Perhaps they dabbled in piracy for a long time, because a lot of Chaos warbands, they do dabble in piracy. And perhaps the Blood Ravens did a little piracy here and there, which, by the way, it's been well documented that some of the Fallen, like the redeemed Fallen, that the Lion personally redeemed and allowed back into the chapter and back into the service of the Imperium, it's been well documented that they, a bunch of them have become pirates because they didn't quite wanna like attack the Imperium, but they were being attacked by the Imperium, so they just like became lawless people and just roamed space, and for the most part attacked Chaos and aliens just as they would have done under the banner of the Imperium. But here and there they did a little piracy against the Imperium itself, which these Space Marines, mostly from the age of the Horus Heresy, they consider the new Imperium of Man as like barbaric and a downgrade basically from what it used to be. So that would explain why they have so many relics from different chapters in a way. Another thing that would explain is why they can master basically like so many different. They're not like a specialized chapter. They have amazing psychers. They have great scouts like Cyrus or whatever his name is there. They have a great in this game, I think they might even have like bike riders. They don't specialize in one thing, where that is also previously established in the lore. Like the original Legion of the Dark Angels, they were pretty much good at everything, right? Because all the legions of Space Marines came from them, so they had like elite units basically of every type, right? Like the Raven Wing. Well, the White Scars got that from the Raven Wing, basically their strategies and their what is the word I'm looking for? Anyways, you get what I'm saying. Like all the Space Marine legions come from the Dark Angels. That was the first legion. The template, rather. That's what I wanted to say. Like the template for how other legions can operate comes that for the most part from the Dark Angels, right? So the Dark Angels are well known to be a very well-rounded legion in the Horus Heresy. Now in the 41st millennium, it's mainly their few wings that they have, right? They have the Death Wing, they have the so-called Green Wing, and they have the Raven Wing. But and they still have like great psychers, you know. They still have a very they hold very relics from like the dark age of technology and so on that the emperor entrusted specifically to them. So anyways, I don't want to ramble too much, but this is amazing. I'm not saying I necessarily want this theory to be true, but that would be certainly a very interesting place to take the story, and they got me hooked. There's probably a bunch of stuff here that I like in this trailer that I just don't have don't have the time and don't want to bore you through it, to just go through like frame by frame. There's probably some interview out there that I haven't had the time to watch because I'm a busy guy that speaks that maybe has more information about where the story is going. We'll see, but so far I am very intrigued and I'm very happy to see that my boys Dark Angels are getting some mainstream love. It's always nice to see basically any other chapter getting mainstream love other than the space wolves and the ultramarines, because basically they get like all the love, and we hadn't had no yeah we have Dark Angels in video games before. I remember now the Deathwing the Space Hulk Deathwing video game, which is sick by the way. But anyways, that's all for today. And tell me down below in the comment section what theories do you have for this. Have a good night.